Welcome back for another video. The end of the crazy December fixture run nears as we pass the halfway mark of the season, and this one we're going to look at which are the best players to buy for Gameweek 20. Short turnaround again with a Saturday deadline next. The Fantasy Football Scout members benefits just got even better, and all for only a few quid a month. All the data tables I use for my videos are public for your use. The season ticker tool, essential for spotting good fixture runs and rotations. Player comparison for when you're weighing up some potential transfers. And they've just partnered up with Plan FPL to have your team rated each week with Opta data. It'll cost you less than a coffee per month. Click the link below to try it out. I can't recommend it enough as a member for 6 years myself. It also supports the channel, so hit the link in the description now. Let's start with the goalkeepers, and top this game week and top for the next 5 projections is Ederson. He's home to Sheffield United next game week, and then he's got another good home fixture to Burnley game week 22. And there's also the potential for the Brentford postponement to drop in between those fixtures in game week 21 as a double game week. If not, game week 25 looks likely. He can be very frustrating at times. His shot stopping can leave a lot to be desired. However, against Everton, he couldn't have done much about the goal conceded. Some mistakes by outfield players led to a squared ball which Harrison buried. This season he's got -3 expected goals on target prevented, which ranks 5th worst among all keepers. Last season -5.7 expected goals on target prevented. Is he worth it? There's definite upside with the double game week to come, but he could be a frustrating pick as he has been this season and last. Rayo's only 0.7 projected points behind Ederson over the next 5, though that's of course without the double game week factored in, which could bump Ederson up by around 3 or so points. 0.6 mil cheaper though, and a nice run of games for Arsenal. If you've only got one Arsenal defender, the double up looks great, with Arsenal's next 3 being Fulham, Crystal Palace and then Forest. If you don't have Haaland and you've got a good outfield team, there's perhaps an opportunity to spend a transfer in goal if you've got a pair of keepers that you're not happy with, like Dubravka and Turner. We won't be seeing Haaland until January now, so you don't need to bring him back this week. Alisson's projected 3.9 points against Newcastle. Something to note with Liverpool is that if they beat Fulham in the League Cup semi-finals on the 10th of January, they will have a blank game week 26. There would be potential for that game versus Luton to be rearranged in game week 25 though, which would make things very interesting. It could end up a free hit opportunity if they were to blank immediately afterwards. With Alisson, it is fine to take on the risk if you've got a backup keeper that plays though. Onto the defenders, and top this week once again is Trent with 4.9 points. He's blanked just once since game week 8, though even the Palace game was hardly a blank, having taken 2 bonus points from that game despite no returns. The question is, if you have Haaland, is it worth selling him now to fund a player like Trent? Given that we don't know exactly when Haaland's going to return, other than January based on Pep's word, it's probably a move worth making, as you can sell Salah or Son if you have them in game week 21 to buy Haaland back if he does return then. Trent's comfortably top among all defender projections for the next 5 game weeks as well. Walker's second on the defender projections this week. As we know, the City defenders are ordinarily rotation risks, but he's played 90 minutes in every league game this season. Stones went off injured against Everton as well, and he was seen wearing a protective boot, so he's in a void, and Ruben Diaz wasn't in the squad. They all seem too risky barring Walker right now. Vardy was benched last match, but he had an impact when he came on. Aston Villa are home to Burnley. Konsa looks the standout, and he's projected 4.2 points, same as Pedro Porro. Dino and Alex Moreno could share minutes, they're both avoids. Diego Carlos is projected 4 points, but Konsa's a logical pick given he can play centre back and right back. Someone we talked about in the last Players to Buy video is Gusto, only 4.1 mil, and he should get tons of minutes in James's absence. He was very impressive against Palace, picking up an assist, and he took all 3 bonus points for an 8-pointer. Chelsea have got a run of games that include Luton, Fulham, Liverpool, Wolves and then Crystal Palace. That Liverpool game is the only one that you wouldn't be comfortable starting him in, so he's an awesome pick for 4.1 mil. Just ensure you've got a player that you can rotate into your starting 11 for that Liverpool game in game week 22. Newcastle are hitting a dreadful run of fixtures now. They've got Liverpool, Man City and then Aston Villa. It could be the perfect time to sell Trippier if you've got him and redistribute that money, or upgrade him to Trent. Livramento also a sell, not just due to the fixtures, but he was benched for their last 2 games in favour of Burn. Onto the midfielders. It's the last game that we get out of Son and Salah before they leave, which is something to keep in mind as well. If you can move them on fast, there could be good gains to be had, while some players might react slower. Therefore, if you can take 2 transfers into game week 21, that's sensible, but team dependent. Son and Salah both projected 7 points this game week, which makes captaincy a very difficult call. Liverpool home to Newcastle, Spurs home to Bournemouth. Let us know in the comments who your captain is, whether it's one of these 2 or someone else. Will Howe have learned from the Forest game? Burn versus Elanga was a bad matchup. Burn struggled against his pace, and if he starts again, he'll be up against Salah. Could be Livramento starting the next one. Although it's classified as green on the fixture difficulty rating, that's certainly not the case of Bournemouth right now. Over the last 6 game weeks, only Arsenal have got better expected goals conceded. Conversely, Newcastle are actually worse in the league for expected goals conceded over that run. So the underlying data points towards Salah captain, but it's a good week to go with your gut given the spread captaincy. You'll be punished less if you get it wrong. And there are some forwards in contention of captaincy as well, who we'll talk about next. Foden's third on the midfielder projections this week. He got his goal against Everton from outside the box to level the game. Foden feels like the type of player who's got absolutely massive upside if you catch him at the perfect time. For example, last season in Game Week 8 he scored, Game Week 9 he got a hat-trick, Game Week 10 he got 1 goal 1 assist, and then he went 4 games without return and several bench-ins. He can just as easily dodge points for a few weeks in a row, but this season 3 games is the longest stretch he's gone without a return. If we compare Foden and Bernardo Silva, overall their expected goal involvement is similar, but Foden's represented significantly higher by XG, while Bernardo's the higher expected assists, so Foden's the better pick between the two. Palmer and Sterling both return from suspension next game week, projected 4.5 points each. Bowen doesn't quite make the table either with 4.7 points, but he's the third top scoring midfielder this season, and his next 3 are Brighton, Sheffield United and Bournemouth. More expensive, but he could be the better pick over a City mid right now. 11 goals this season at the time of recording, while Foden's got 5 goals and 4 assists. On to the forwards. So the latest update from Pep and Haaland is that he's still not with the team. He feels better, but he hasn't made one training session, and he added that hopefully in January he can come back with the team. So as we said earlier, there's a strong case for selling this week, and then you can sell Salah or Son in Game Week 21 to get him back if he's available. However, if you've got a good bench option to play in Haaland's absence, then holding on to him seems fine as well. His absence has had a knock-on effect to Alvarez, who's moved top in the league for Game Week 20 with 7.5 points due to penalty duties being confirmed for him in Haaland's absence. Salah and Son are on 7 points. He scored from the penalty spot against Everton, taking corners and set pieces, so there's many routes to points for him, and he's home to Sheffield United. They have improved recently. Over the last 6 game weeks, Sheffield United are 10th in the league for expected goals conceded, but City, you imagine, should be far too much for them to handle. City don't play until the 7th of January after next game week, so there's a nice rest between, which is an FA Cup game against Huddersfield. Alvarez has got 20 goals and assists in all competitions from 11 goals 9 assists in 27 matches. 15 of those 20 were to tie or win the match for City. Watkins is second among all forwards with 6 points versus Burnley. Even he's a reasonable shout for captaincy this week, but just 1 goal in his last 5 games, disappointing for those of us who have him. But patience is going to be key with some good fixtures on the horizon. Solanke's projected 4.2 points up against Spurs. However, they've just lost Romero, who will be sidelined for around a month, and even with him in the team, Tottenham's underlying numbers haven't been good this season. Their 30.4 expected goals conceded ranks 14th this season. Could be some opportunities for Solanke with both Romero and Van de Ven missing as centre-back. We've got to give an honourable mention to Wood, with a hat-trick last match against Newcastle, only 4.9 mil, and he's up against Man United next. He'd be an absolutely perfect third forward ordinarily as a budget pick, though it feels like we don't need budget forwards right now with Salah and Son leaving after this game week. We're going to have more money than we know what to do with. Thanks very much for watching. If this video was helpful, make sure you hit like on it and make sure you're subscribing. There's another FPL video to follow later today with the Game Week 20 team selection. See you soon for the next one.